Stop playing. Stop playing. Let go.
Hold on tight, because what's about to unfold is hotter than any reality TV drama you've ever seen. You thought you knew the betrayal, the backstabbing, the family feuds. But this is on a whole new level. The two kings of love and hip-hop, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, are officially out of the game. Blacklisted, shunned, but the shocking reason behind it will leave you speechless. After years at the center of love and hip-hop's most memorable moments, affairs, cheating rumors, and explosive family feuds, Kirk and Mendeecees are no longer welcome on the show. But why? How did two of the most iconic figures in reality TV fall from grace so quickly? Was it a mistake? A wild scandal? Or something far darker and even more explosive than what we've been told? Sources close to the show are spilling some seriously hot tea, and trust me, it's almost too much to handle. The twists and turns in this saga are jaw-dropping. After being the backbone of love and hip-hop for years, these two stars, once untouchable, are now being kicked to the curb. What happened behind the scenes that led to their fall from grace? Stay with me, because this scandal is deeper, darker, and more shocking than you could ever imagine. You thought Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris were untouchable, right? After all, they have been the centerpieces of love and hip-hop drama since the beginning. Whether it was cheating rumors, fights, or family feuds, they had been involved in it all. But suddenly, everything came crashing down, and their reputations were on the line. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is a full-scale reality TV catastrophe that no one saw coming. Let's rewind for a moment to understand how it all started. Kirk Frost, once a beloved bad boy who turned family man, had been a central figure on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta since the very first season. From his infamous cheating scandals to the dramatic baby mama saga, he had been at the heart of the drama. But no matter how deep the mess, Kirk always found a way to make a return to the spotlight, managing to captivate fans with his unpredictable behavior. His relationship with his wife, Rashida, had always been a point of contention for many viewers. Their ups and downs made for compelling television, but it was clear that their bond, while often rocky, had a deep foundation. It wasn't just about the show for them, it was about their family, their kids, and their legacy. But even that wasn't enough to shield them from the ruthless nature of the reality TV world. Then there's Mendeecees Harris. Mendeecees made prison time look like a mere stepping stone to greater things. He built his entire brand not just on love and hip-hop, but also on his image as a reformed bad boy with a captivating redemption story. His family drama, his marriage to Yandy Smith, and his legal battles made him a fan favorite. Together, Kirk and Mendeecees were love and hip-hop's power couple, the men everyone loved to hate. Their names became synonymous with drama, and for years, they kept fans hooked. At first glance, Kirk and Mendeecees seemed like unlikely allies. Their personalities were so different, yet both had a similar struggle in finding a way to balance their troubled past with their ambitions for the future. But despite their differences, they both shared a common goal: maintaining their positions in the love and hip-hop world, which often meant stirring the pot and feeding the drama. But somewhere along the way, things started to shift. According to sources, the tensions between Kirk and Mendeecees had been simmering behind the scenes for months. The producers, ever hungry for more drama, noticed this growing tension between the two. It was clear to them that a storm was brewing. What no one expected, however, was the explosion that followed. The turning point came at a Love and Hip Hop after-party. This was supposed to be a quiet wind down before the official reunion show, but instead of peace, the night quickly escalated into chaos. What started as a behind-the-scenes argument between Kirk and Mendeecees spiraled out of control. Multiple sources confirmed that things were already tense between the two. Rumors circulated that Mendeecees had been trash-talking Kirk, calling him a washed-up husband who only stayed relevant because of his wife Rashida's success. For Kirk, these accusations cut deep. He had spent years building his own legacy in the love and hip-hop world. He wasn't about to let someone like Mendeecees disrespect him. The situation was a ticking time bomb, and when the producers caught wind of the escalating tension, they knew they had to do something. But what they didn't anticipate was just how bad things were about to get. Behind closed doors, the altercation began with a few choice words being exchanged. But as the argument escalated, so did the aggression. Kirk, always the proud veteran of the show, wasn't having it. His legacy, his reputation, everything he had worked for was being insulted. Mendeecees had been vocal about how Kirk's past scandals were holding the show back, and for Kirk, that was the ultimate betrayal. "You're telling me I'm holding the show back," Kirk reportedly said, from a guy who just got out of prison, a guy who was barely relevant before Yandy picked him up. The two men were no longer just arguing about the direction of the show. The fight turned personal. Kirk reportedly confronted Mendeecees backstage, and things quickly escalated into a physical altercation. Words were thrown, but so were punches. According to reports, Kirk shoved Mendeecees so hard that he stumbled into a chair, and from there, the fight turned into an all-out brawl. The crew members and producers rushed in to break up the fight, but it was too late. The damage was already done. What was supposed to be a quiet after-party had turned into the spectacle of the year. And of course, someone had pulled out their phone just as the fight broke out. The footage quickly went viral. The aftermath was explosive. Fans were in shock. This was unlike anything Love and Hip Hop had ever aired before. The fight spread like wildfire across social media, with fans immediately taking sides. Some supported Kirk, saying Mendeecees had no right to talk down on a Love and Hip Hop OG. Others sided with Mendeecees, accusing Kirk of being the aggressor, but no one could have predicted the fallout that followed. Behind the scenes, the producers and executives were scrambling. This wasn't just another brawl between cast members. This was an all-out scandal, something that could tarnish the reputation of the entire Love and Hip Hop brand. With legal concerns, fan backlash, and the potential for further controversy, producers knew they couldn't just sweep this under the rug. An emergency meeting was called, and by the end of the night, the verdict was clear. Kirk and Mendeecees were done. Fired, blacklisted, out of the picture. It wasn't just about the fight. It was about the brand's integrity. Love and Hip Hop had built its empire on drama, but this was too much. The fight had been caught on camera, and now the entire franchise was in jeopardy. The producers feared legal action, possible lawsuits, and further scandals. It was an emergency they couldn't afford. And just like that, Kirk and Mendeecees, once staples of the Love and Hip Hop world, were banned from the show, their careers shattered in one night. But this wasn't the end of their story. As the reality TV industry turned its back on them, both men weren't about to go quietly. The next day, Kirk was reportedly pacing in his living room furious. "This can't be happening," he said to Rashida, his wife. "I've been with Love and Hip Hop since the beginning. I built this show. They need me." But Rashida, ever the voice of reason, knew what had to be done. "Kirk, you crossed the line. You put your hands on him, and now it's out there for everyone to see. There's no going back from this." Kirk couldn't accept it. For him, this wasn't just about the fight. It was about his legacy. He had been one of the biggest stars of Love and Hip Hop for years, and now to be discarded so easily felt like a betrayal. "They can't just do this to me," he was heard saying. "I built this show. Without me, there is no Love and Hip Hop." Across the country, Mendeecees was having his own crisis. Sitting with Yandy, he received the same call. "This is some expletive," he reportedly snapped. "I've been through too much to let this be the end." Yandy, always the strategist, reminded him that the industry wasn't always fair. "We've been through worse. This isn't the end," she reassured him. But even as Mendeecees fought back, a deep fear lingered. His entire career had been built around Love and Hip Hop, and now that door was shut. Both men, devastated by the decision, didn't just accept it. They were determined to fight back. Kirk started the legal process, claiming wrongful termination. "This isn't just about the fight," he told his lawyer. "It's about respect. It's about my legacy." Mendeecees, on the other hand, decided to take a different route. He turned to social media, sharing his side of the story in an emotional Instagram live session. With tears in his eyes, he declared, "I've been through too much, and I'm not going to let this defeat me." While the industry turned its back on them, both Kirk and Mendeecees weren't ready to fade into obscurity. They knew they had one thing the networks couldn't take away: their fan base. And that's when the story takes another twist. Kirk began reaching out to other reality shows, expressing his desire to still be a part of the entertainment world. He made appearances on talk shows, hinting at the real story behind the scenes. Mendeecees, meanwhile, turned to podcasting, sharing his journey, frustrations, and pain. Fans followed them, giving them a platform to speak their truth. For the first time, it seemed like Kirk and Mendeecees were the true underdogs. While love and hip-hop moved forward without them, the world had finally heard their side of the story. Fans weren't done with them yet. In fact, many began to rally behind them, demanding that the networks reconsider their firing. It wasn't long before both men found new opportunities outside of reality TV. They might not have been on love and hip-hop anymore, but they had built legacies that would forever be intertwined with the fabric of reality television. They would no longer be at the mercy of the producers or the networks. Instead, they had taken back their power. And as for love and hip-hop, the drama may have continued, but it was never quite the same. Without Kirk and Mendeecees, the show lost the raw, unapologetic energy they brought. Even as the network tried to move forward with new faces and fresh drama, the fans knew that the real legends of the show had been cast aside too soon. For Kirk and Mendeecees, the fall from grace wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. Their story was far from over.